Wouldn't hear an absolutely terrible take about the Denver Broncos. I'll play you the clip, but just so you can see right here, the Broncos are probably the least dominant one seed than I can remember. Let's see what Alex Smith has to say.
Today, the truth is they also need the one seed more than any other team in the AFC. I think this is probably the least dominant one seed that I can remember. The Broncos have the fifth best point differential in the AFC. Think about that, and they're going to be the one seed. They've had 12 comeback wins this year. That is the most in NFL history, right? Like, do we think that that is sustainable into the playoffs when you're going to play the Texans who can close games out, right? When you're going to play the Patriots? I don't know if it is. So I think they need to get the one seed. But this is as open a race as I can remember in a field, obviously, for the Lamar Hunt Trophy. I don't know who the favorite is.
You want to know why this is a really, really bad take and a really biased take at that? Let's unpack this, shall we? So, you want to talk about point differential right now? Okay. The Broncos are at 90. Okay. 90. Last year, the Kansas City Chiefs, as the number 1 seed, had a point differential of 59. They were below that of said Denver Broncos, the Green Bay Packers, the Los Angeles Chargers. The Detroit Lions were the number 1 team in point differential. They lost in the first round. Buffalo Bills were 3rd. They lost to the Kansas City Chiefs. Baltimore Ravens were 4th. They beat the Steelers. Congrats. And lost to the Bills. The Green Bay Packers. They were 5th, 122. They lost first round to Philadelphia Eagles. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers lost wildcard weekend against rookie quarterback Jane Daniels and the Washington Commanders. So, you want to use point differential now to kind of like make some sort of truth claim, like that's some magical number here is really absurd. And before anyone says, how dare you compare it to the Chiefs' Patrick Mahomes? Guys, that doesn't mean anything. He brought up point differential. The Kansas City Chiefs were clearly not dominant last year, that yet they were the number 1 seed, and yet they were in endless close games. You want to point out, like, is it sustainable for the Denver Broncos to keep winning this way? The Kansas City Chiefs were 11-0 in one-score games during the regular season. Yet did that stop you from saying that the Kansas City Chiefs are dominant? That no one's going to beat them? Tell me, did you think the Kansas City Chiefs were going to beat the Philadelphia Eagles in the Super Bowl, Alex Smith? I mean, it just really doesn't make sense that we now want to frame the conversation around dominance. You know, last year, again, the Kansas City Chiefs were not considered dominant. The Philadelphia Eagles, who were not the 1 seed but dominated in the playoffs, they weren't considered dominant. The year before that, it's like the Baltimore Ravens were the 1 seed. I mean, were they dominant? Would they score 10 points in the AFC Championship game? The 49ers, they were the 1 seed in the NFC, and a couple, games before the end of the season, they played the Ravens and got blown out by the Ravens. There was conversation about Brock Purdy to be the MVP, and then that ended very quickly. So I just want to know why, when we're talking about the Denver Broncos now, that they're the 1 seed, like that's the converse, that's how we want to now twist and turn the conversation around this sense of dominance. I'd love to understand conceptually what that means. Then you want to talk about, well, they've won a lot of these close games. How is that sustainable? And you could say, well, and I said, that's why I point out the Kansas City Chiefs and what they did. And you say, well, that's the Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs. It's like, okay, well, how did it work out for them this year? How many one-score games did they win this year? So therefore, you can't just say it's the magic of Patrick Mahomes that you just automatically give that crown. Like it doesn't actually make sense, especially when you want to then bring in numbers. If you want to use point differentials as a reference point, it's like, cool. Well, then the Kansas City Chiefs had 59, they were 11th, and the Denver Broncos this year are 7th and they're 90. That is a huge difference. Near double the difference. So that's what I'm trying to point out here. The conversation gets forced and manufactured in a way to devalue who the Denver Broncos are, because they're the 1 seed, but let's talk about how dominant they are. It's what does that even mean right now? Seriously, clears throat. What does that even mean? The 49ers, if you want to say that they were considered dominant, I think they were cons. They were scary in 2023 for sure. But then they were down like, what was it, like 17 to what, they were down by a lot going into the second half. And it's largely seen that the Detroit Lions blew that game. And the 49ers win one, and then it went to overtime against the Kansas City Chiefs. So like the other point that I'm trying to drive home is like, what do we mean by dominant right now? Are the Los Angeles Rams dominant? Are the Seattle Seahawks dominant? Are the New England Patriots dominant? The New England Patriots are top 3 right now in point differential. Does anyone say that they're dominant? The Los Angeles Rams, are they dominant? No one's saying that. We can say that these are great teams. Oh, the Seattle Seahawks, they're great. Oh, they're the 1 seat. Los Angeles Rams, hey man. That offense is really scary. We can use those phrases, those words, but I just want to know and understand what we mean by dominant in this point, because in 2023, technically the Dallas Cowboys were more dominant than the 49ers. Just by a point. Just by a point. And the Baltimore Ravens were even more dominant than the 49ers and the Cowboys. Cowboys got knocked out first round. They got dominated by the Green Bay Packers, who had a point differential of 33. So again, what are we doing here? So yeah, I mean, this is just silly. It really is, because it's just like you now want to use point differential rankings to show how dominant a team is right now, to try to devalue who the Denver Broncos are. Like, I don't know, man. It seems a little forced and manufactured. It really does. It's just forced and manufactured to me. And I just don't recall really having these types of conversations about other teams throughout just use the last 5 years. Like, I just don't recall having that narrow of a conversation. We said, oh, this team is awesome, this team is great, oh, this offense is dominant. Like, we still use words like dominant, don't get me wrong, but it's just the way how it's constructed about the Denver Broncos right now. It's just so forced. It really is. It's just very, very forced. And I do believe that the AFC is wide open and the NFC is WW. I feel like the whole playoff picture is wide open right now, which is so exciting. But to make the statement, they are probably the least dominant 1 seed that I can remember, when literally just last year you had the Kansas City Chiefs that were less dominant than the Denver Broncos, with a quarterback who was not playing particularly great, and then ended up getting absolutely annihilated, absolutely destroyed in the Super Bowl, proving just how imbalanced the Eagles were, and the Chiefs were highlighting the Chiefs lacked a level of dominance. And therefore, you can't just say Patrick Mahomes, Andy Reid. That's not what that means, man. Finding ways to win, being smart and strategic, etc., etc. That's not what they mean by diamond. That's why he used point differential. Okay, that's why he phrased it that way. So, talk about a manufactured argument just to downplay the number 1 seed, the Denver Broncos. Bo Neck, Sean Payne, and company, while the Kansas City Chiefs are they're watching, and that's okay. It's gonna be okay. Did you guys notice this? I don't know if you guys noticed this. Seriously, this is actually pretty crazy. And I'll end here, because I don't wanna bog this out, but I found this actually wild. This was actually wild to me. So, the Kansas City Chiefs are not in the playoffs right now. And did you guys know that the playoffs are still going to happen this year? Did you know that this season was still absolutely, unbelievably awesome, with ratings through the roof, NFL through the roof, ESPN, FS1, all that, like everything is through the roof. Did you know that everybody could not be any more excited than they are right now? People are pumped about the Seahawks, about the Bears, about the Jags, the Patriots, the Broncos. They're excited about Trevor Lawrence, Bo Nix, Sam Darnold, Drake May, Matthew Stafford. Did you know that the NFL is still popular and everyone is still excited about the playoffs and all the games that are playing, even though they have nothing to do with Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs and Taylor Swift and Jason and Travis Kelce? It's amazing. I know. I thought that the playoffs weren't going to happen this year. I thought for sure the NFL was going to be like, oh, we're so sorry. We got to cancel the playoffs this year. It's over. We're so sorry. But that didn't happen. That did not happen. The games are going to happen on Saturday and Sunday. It's going to be awesome. There's going to be actual playoff games, and no one's going to care that the Kansas City Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes aren't there. Nobody's going to care. Doesn't matter. They're still going to watch the games. They're still going to be really excited about it. They're still going to be saying, oh, that was a crazy play. Oh, I can't believe the refs called that. That's such a bad call. It's still going to go on. It's still going to go on. And it's pretty cool. I mean, I hope it still is. Maybe it might. Maybe I'm getting ahead of myself. Maybe come, in Saturday and Sunday, the playoffs might not happen. And maybe, I'll have egg on my face like, guys, I'm so sorry. I thought the playoffs were going to happen, but no, the Chiefs aren't there. So, let's go home, everyone. Least dominant team the least dominant 1 seed that I can remember. Well, you know what, man? Use your, memory more then. Use your head. I don't know what. Just, you don't have to use your memory. Just use Google. Just literally look it up. What are you talking about? Madness. But those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about the Denver Broncos being the least dominant 1 seed that I can remember, according to Alex Smith, Kansas City Chiefs superstar quarterback? Let me know your thoughts. I read every single comment. So whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get in some discussions. Let's get in some fights. But ultimately, let's just have some fun. Please do consider subscribing. We are building an amazing community here and absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all generally feel connected to, something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're well on our way to doing it. And please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much. See you next time.